Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Other Dark Baseball 26, featuring the Chicago White Sox. Um, I hope you are all doing well in various things and stuff. A couple things I wanted to talk about while we get ready to start this particular sim, or this episode rather, either way. First of all, a shout out to, I'm pretty sure this is Brian Guerra, but let's make sure that it was. I know how to access YouTube. No, I don't. I'm lying to you. It was indeed Brian Garris 7094 who says, "Am I reading this correctly?" Oh, this is from the Rockies episode. Never mind. But regardless, there are some things I want to chat about. So the first thing I wanted to talk a little bit about while we prepare our team is maybe if you're a fan of the real life Colorado Rockies, you've seen that Paul D. Podesta has been given control of the team now. And I think there's this idea, first of all, that he is somehow unworthy, or that he's gotten stupider since he went to football. Now, as a Browns fan ish, I'm still not super happy with them picking up Deshaun Watson for many reasons I've already talked about. But for many, many reasons. I agree that he didn't do the best job, but also he wasn't the GM. And if you're going to give him the blame for what's happening right now, you also have to give him the credit for Baker Mayfield's success and the first postseason win in the Browns' return to existence in 1999. So I'm going to give him credit for that. But also, he really knows his baseball stuff. And this brings me to my actual topic that brings it back to this, which is market inefficiency, something you learned a lot about from reading Moneyball. For the longest time at OOTP, the market inefficiency was really cheap DHs, or first baseman. You saw this in past series. It happened all the time. You get a guy that's like $2-3 million, plays out of his damn mind, and you get a big return on your investment for that. All market inefficiency is finding something that other people aren't valuing correctly and then getting it for a very low price. In OTP 26, I think it's relievers. And I want to talk about Jerry Delgado. Jerry Delgado has not been a flawless reliever, but he has been a very good one. And one WAR for $4.8 million is a pretty great bargain. It's pretty good. But on the whole, how have we been acquiring our players? I'm going somewhere with this. Just take my word for it for right now. So we drafted Adam Smith, Dan Halpern, Herb Berry, Art Isbell, and Brian Bittner. Some scouting discoveries helped fill out the roster pretty effectively. And then we have a couple of trades for Armando Beltran, Ricardo Vasquez, and a Rule 5 pick in Manuel Bobadilla here. So what am I getting at with this? What are the market inefficiencies now? I think the big market inefficiency in this game are these players that have really medium ratings, but outperform those ratings year in and year out. If you can identify those players, you have to grab onto them with both hands. And I thought about this when booting up the game because of our old pal Garrett Kozic here, who currently doesn't have a team, so we could very casually offer him minor. Oh, I don't have any money. Oh well. Like, here's what people might miss. If you look at his ratings, he was never the best player on the field. Unless everybody else was, injured or dead. And even when we acquired him, when we drafted him back in 2026, we didn't expect much out of him, did we? Mr. Kozic here was a 10th round draft pick. The Nationals took him in the 10th round, and then we traded for him 2 years later. By ratings, he's not that special, but by his actual performance, he was excellent. He could claim a fairly high peak for somebody that didn't have the most outstanding ratings. And then there's this. We paid him a fraction of his value. And all because we recognize something that the Nationals never did. That sometimes you just take these lower tier players, you put them in a game, and see what they can do. And that's what we got. We got a fantastic player who continued to produce, by the way, when he left Chicago. But then he had a bad season with the Phillies, didn't barely play at all for us, and now he's out on the free agent market. So this is the new market inefficiency in this game. And that's why I'm bringing this all around to Paul DePodesta and what's happening in the news, which is you want to find somebody that other people haven't identified as being all that good. And then you want to pay them a fairly small amount of money. Chris Waters could have been that guy for us. This is why he wasn't. The injuries have gone into the point where he's just not very effective anymore. It stinks, but when we signed that contract, he's coming off of a pretty great couple of seasons. And he even had a great year not even 2 seasons ago. So it's not like we lost a lot, but this is the kind of thing you want to do if you're going to run a team intelligently. Is find players and lock them up to early term deals before they get super expensive. Now, we're in a lot of financial trouble right this second, but it's about to change with Jaden Charles and Chris Waters disappearing from the roster. That's $38 million that's ours to have. The real wild card is going to be Alberto Maini. If Maini is smart, he is not going to opt out of this contract. I know it is less money than he's technically making right now. So it's at the end of next year that he can opt out. My apologies. Yeah, because it's at the end of the year he can opt out. But he's not going to be getting $15 million from anybody. So hopefully he realizes that, and we can do something here. Chris Hernandez, by the way, is that new guy. Chris Hernandez has every possibility of being as good as Garrett Kozic, if not better. The man is quite literally the number 5 hitter for our club. And he certainly has earned it. So we will see how this season goes. What do I think is going to happen this year? I genuinely don't know at this point. I would love for us to bottom out a little bit. I would love for us to have a bad enough season to get... Oh, I need to get a hitting coach for Rookie League. Noted. This guy looks good. Jean Salmo, welcome to the club. I really like to try to bottom out a little bit. I don't want to be uncompetitive by any stretch, but I think we're running out of time. I think we're running out of time for this roster to be very effective. Bosco Cardia is a free agent. Oscar Balboa is a free agent because he accepted the qualifying offer. Jared Delgado, free agent. We're going to have a lot of turnover in the pitching staff, especially if we say goodbye to Waters and Charles. So this is not the best time to dip, but if we did dip, this would be a good year to do it. That said, I want to keep being productive. I want to keep being competitive year in and year out. This is a team whose talent level is probably about 90 wins. We haven't gotten to that level for various and sundry reasons, but that's where we should be. All right, guys. Let's play some baseball. Well, I didn't talk about what changed about the roster, did I? I got so distracted in my own genius point that I didn't talk about it. Herb Berry has an RBI but doesn't have any hits. That's pretty funny. We literally lost 2-3, so anyways. So who's new on this team? Ricardo Vasquez is probably the newest person on this club. We wanted somebody that could handle center field. So we picked him up in a trade, and we've got him for a very small sum of money. He is very injury prone. However, this is the kind of deal that can definitely pay fairly big dividends. Because he is a highly capable defender with enough speed to take advantage of his capabilities, and all he has to do is hit fine. And we have an unfair advantage because we have a hitter's park. So we should expect him to hit a little bit better than he has for, say, the Angels did in the past. So if he doesn't work out, it's not that big a deal because it doesn't cost very much money. That's a big, important deal for us that I'm pretty happy about. Everyone else here is an old friend except for Brian Bittner. Mr. Bittner's audition last season wasn't anything special, but this year we're going to give him his chance. And we're going to see if he can handle a full season as a pretty high quality outfielder. And the rest of these guys are old friends. Pitching wise, James Conway is making his major league debut this year. I have had a large number of these pitchers that are fine without ever truly reaching that extra level, that extra oomph to make him one of the best in the league. This is a perfectly fine pitcher, though, don't get me wrong. I think he can easily have 2 or 3 pretty solid seasons and stabilize a rotation. Adam Wiley is back. Hopefully he has another great season. Yeah. Bullpen-wise, these are almost all old friends. Nobody here is new. So we're going to see if we can keep it up here. Let's get after it, gentlemen. And let's baseball the shit out of stuff. Adam Wiley's going to miss 2 weeks. That's fine. Oh, yeah, that happened, too. Not only paying Oscar Balboa $20+ million, he got hurt in spring training. So I get literally nothing out of it. With him being injured, this is maybe an okay time to bring up somebody to have a bit of a try as their starting pitcher. We could try Alex Pulido again. You may remember him from his mediocre time as one of our relievers. I don't know that it moves the needle for me, but it's possible. We do not have great starting pitching in the high minors. Mike Turner is not terrible. Oh, who's my current emergency star? It's Chris Waters. Let's just give Chris Waters his job back. That's far superior than calling up a shitty starter, and now we can call up a reliever instead. I don't want Alex Pulido coming up as a reliever if it means that he's just gonna he's just gonna lengthen the bullpen a little bit. I think that's probably fine. Let's keep it going. He's only out for 2 weeks, so I don't want to do anything too wild, but we picked up Jean Salmo. That sounds like a championship to me. Another reason that it wouldn't be the worst thing in history if we slid a little bit is I could then try to turn Fosco Cardia into... I'm probably going to trade him anyway. Because I'm not offering him... I'm not going to offer him a qualifying offer. I already got bit by that once. Tanho Doc is a better pitcher, but he's not as effective as we might have hoped. Some people getting better. For the most part, they're all about the same. Luis Ponce is doing quite well. That's good to see. That's reasonable, I think. Conway got a shutout. Nice. Adam Smith got 3 home runs. What a guy. What a guy. Adam Wiley is back. There is no universe in which he sits over Alex Pulido. Unless they want to send somebody else to the minors. I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody else I would want to send to the minors. Other than maybe Chris Waters. But I don't think he'll accept it. I think he'll be like, the fuck are you talking about? We can ask. Yeah. I don't blame him. And because that's a thing, we're going to go ahead and get rid of Pulido and bring Adam Wiley back. Because Adam Wiley actually has a future on this club. Adam Wiley has got a chance to be an important piece of this club's future. Um, Alex Pulido doesn't. Yeah, Adam Wiley, if he could have a big year this year, that would be great. I am quite concerned about what happens in the postseason because our rotation doesn't have any world beaters in it. Okay, what do we got here? Ruben Alonso's not bad. But he's not good either. Ruben Alonso's upside is medium tier starter. I don't think I like that. Jonathan Saez is whatever. I don't care about trading John Beamish, but I'm not going to give up anything else here because, like, I actually kind of like Oliver Mariscal. I think he's got a little bit of upside to him, so we can talk this deal if I drop Mariscal. Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm done. There goes Pulido. Yeah, our biggest problem as a franchise right now is we're going to out-hit this rotation. And while that can definitely be possible over the course of the season, it is something that gives me a lot of concern if we make the postseason. Because I don't think we're that good. I don't think we're so good we can out-hit our pitching staff. James Conway has been a revelation, though. He's having a very fine opening couple of months to his career. Cardi's losing velocity. That's not unexpected, given his age. Adam Smith is getting better at defense. I'll take that. Brian Bitter improving his gap power is nice, but it's still not really what we want. We want him to start improving his overall offense. Holistically, not just his gap power, which is admittedly pretty decent. It's admittedly pretty decent. Nothing too crazy here. Other than said the suckers. This is also shuckers. Okay. I mean, we're scoring runs at a pretty decent clip. We've gotten some nice performances out of a lot of players here. Bittner is struggling pretty mightily, but we don't want to give up on him this early, and also he's got a lot of other value. If you compare his seasons, they're actually quite comparable. Big differences this year is he's stealing bases very, very effectively, and I think he's also playing the outfield quite well, too. So... Chris Hernandez and Danny Rios are off to pretty... I mean, it's kind of shocking actually how good we are at scoring runs because nobody's hitting where they should be. Herb Berry comes the closest, but for this, even this is disappointing. I mean, he's still an amazing player and always will be, but... Because we projected to steal 67 bases, which is hilarious. I don't think it's going to happen, but... We're off to a bit of a cold start, which is actually positive, because it means there's a chance we could make this work out. We are almost last in the American League in errors. I wonder if it's Maini. I wonder if he is the noob giving up all of the errors. It's Barry and Halpern. That doesn't fill me with confidence. Especially Halpern. Didn't I just give Halpern an extension? No, I just gave him a one-year deal. Yeah. Offensively, there's a lot of room to improve. Something else I've been reading again recently is the book by Tom Tango, Mitchell Lyman, and... who's the third author? Mitchell Lichtman and Andrew Dolphin. It's not actually a dolphin as far as I know. And they really push WOBA as like the ultimate measure of a player's offensive capabilities here. And so by that logic, we don't really have anybody that's truly outstanding right now, which makes sense to me. Armando Beltran is off to a pretty hot start. That's encouraging. One thing I need to get better about in both this series and the Rockies series is watching my bench players much more closely than I have been. I tend to just set him and forget him, but then it usually turns out that's a poor decision. So we're definitely going to keep a close eye on our benches going forward and see if we can eke out some extra value by having really good bench guys. Let's advance time. I really like the Charlotte Atomics name. That's pretty good. I enjoy that. Pretty substantial margin. Take a drink while the game sims. Danny, my man, you gotta stop this shit. I have done everything I possibly can to keep you healthy. And yet you still say your injury proneness is normal, which I don't believe for a second. Alright. Now how do we fix this? How do we make up for losing Danny Rios? Now, the positive, and I put this in air quotes, is that he will be back by the time the postseason arrives. I guess it's Bobby Pena, right? Like, nobody else has the ability to hit potential like Danny Rios did, so I guess we try it out. I don't feel great about it, you guys, but I think it's where we are right now. The upper minors are just bare. All of my great prospects are in the low minors. And even some of them are looking to be less exciting than we had hoped. Right? Or they're injured. That's also possible. I didn't think of that. Either way, Binner's a much better outfielder than he would have been, so we're just going to go and just slot in Bobby Pena as a DH. I don't really want it hitting cleanup, if I'm being honest with you, but I don't know who I would rather hit cleanup. I mean, I guess Dan Halpern. No, you all suck. Only Adam Smith has any real power here, so we're gonna do this, I guess. That's fine. I guess I could have let Edwin Lucio DH potentially. That's an idea that has some appeal to me. Bobadilla is not starting over Adam Smith. He had 3 home runs in 1 game. God damn it. Here you go. I really am trying to protect Chris Hernandez from facing lefties, so we're gonna do that. This is all fine. If you want to let Armando Beltran play every few games, that I don't have a problem with. I guess I could have also started him. But I want something that at least approximates Danny Rios' power. I think it's something we're going to find a lot of value out of. So we're going to try this out, at least for the short term, and see where that gets us. But Danny Rios is becoming a big problem. We have big resources invested in him, and he keeps getting injured all the time. Even though he's a DH, which is especially frustrating. I have a lot of money invested in players that don't really offer that much value back to me, which is obviously problematic. Alright. Do we have anything to be proud about offensively? Edwin Hernandez is playing alright. I mean, given his gigantic salary, he should be playing more than just alright. But putting up 3 wins is solid. Like, it's a solid contribution to the roster. He should be playing better, though. This is a guy that should be easily clearing 30 home runs a year in Chicago and hitting about 280 to 290. I don't think that's an unreasonable ask. Bobby Pena has 9 home runs already. How is that possible? He doesn't. He has 0 home runs. Why does it say he has 9? Oaks had 9 home runs with San Diego. Wait, what? He was released in May. I guess. Yeah, fine, I suppose. I'm confused. I'm not gonna ask any more questions. I'm just gonna get more confused. No comeback for Barry Varner. That's a shame. Fosco, I am not bringing you back. I can't afford it. I don't want to afford it. It's not going to happen. I think next season is going to be a big rebuilding year, and I don't mean that as a critique. I don't mean that it's, oh, we suck. We're totally doomed. We have to rebuild. We have to. We don't have, the farm system is just gutted at this point. We don't have the kinds of players that we need to sustain ourselves, especially given that our scouting budget and player development budgets are both minuscule. We have to reinvest in the future. It's mandatory. It is completely and utterly mandatory that we reinvest in the future. We have to get really lucky at free agency, and I honestly don't think we should expect that. View draft combine. I'm gonna draft combine. Here it is. It's right here. Do your thing, my friend. But yeah, we have spent so much money trying to keep a roster together that shouldn't have been kept together as long as it was, and now we're suffering for it. We're going to be into some dark times here in the not too distant future, and that honestly doesn't bother me. I think we'll be better off for it in the long run to rebuild around newly talented players that aren't even on the roster right now. I don't think we're going to have a top 6 in any time, but maybe. Stab is pretty happy. If we're going to replace anybody, I think we just keep everyone. I think that's a smart move. I think we want to go for a well-designed franchise that has a lot of continuity where it deserves to be. Like, if we go into a tailspin, it is not going to be because of these coaches. It's going to be because that's what has to happen for us to keep developing. Justin Masterson will never be a manager at their major league level for me, so I think letting him go is probably fine. He would make a good bench coach, so I guess there's not a lot of value to letting him walk, but I do think letting John Kovalik and Justin Masterson walk means we can promote other people. And I think that's got enough value to me that I think I want to do it. Yeah, let's do it. Let's let them both depart and then move other people up the chain. Get them more attention and skill. Preston Claiborne, you're a perfectly fine pitching coach for that low in the minors. Dune. Darwin Rivera is really good, actually. I would love to promote him, but I think he's resisted being promoted up till now. Maybe that'll change. But yeah, we're going to do a little bit of house cleaning at the AAA level. I think these are all fine coaches. I don't think they're bad, but they don't really have a major league career ahead of them. In my opinion. That is my opinion. I don't think anybody's going to want Fosco Cardia. I don't think there is a market for him. That's my take on it, but I think it's a reasonable take. I'm still going to check. I'm still going to ask the question if somebody else is willing to give me some prospects for him, but I genuinely don't think it's likely to happen. I don't think anyone's going to look at Fosco Cardia at this point in his career and say that's the kind of thing that I want. He is pitching well. So if we end up keeping him, I don't think it's the worst thing in history. But if we could get something special for him, can I get a package of prospects for him? Yes. Yes, I can. All right. I like some of these trades up here at the top here. I'd rather get 2 really good prospects than 3 mediocre ones. Let's talk. Micah Christensen is not that great. This disturbs me. That he is rated as highly as he is. He's competent, and I wouldn't object to putting him at second base, even though his arm sucks. And he's got the markings of an okay hitter. Like, it's not that he lacks talent, it's that I don't think his upside is high enough. What a Race is actually a pretty good pitcher. I could make that work. I do like Corey Griswold a fair bit. I think he's got a lot of talent as a starting pitcher. Carlos Chavez is a really nice bullpen guy. But I don't think I'm getting enough. I don't think I'm getting what I actually want out of trading Cardia. I don't know if there's a deal on the table that really excites me. I mean, Jared Hayes is fine. He's a little better than fine. He's got good leadership. He's a switch hitter. He's got decent skills. He's an okay outfielder. I've seen worse. Ox Navarro's okay if he is a bit of a light tosser. Johnson is fine. You've never hit in the minor leagues, except in Akron. That causes me some concern. On the other hand, it's not like Dan Halpern is playing out of his mind, and there is definitely a future where he departs. So Christensen's got some interest to me for that reason. OSA thinks he's like a megastar in the making, so I do think Reyes has a lot of legs to him as a starting pitcher. I think I make this trade. I think it's the right decision. Done. Both of you are going to be added to the 40-man without any question here. Micah kindly join me in AAA. Let's let you get some more experience down there. And then Mr. Reyes, I'm not going to make you the starter over what's-his-face, but I will. How bad would you be as a starter? You're actually really good as a starter. You're better than Chris Waters, although Chris Waters is more accomplished. I'm going to try Reyes as a starting pitcher. This is a very bold move, but I think bold moves are what is called for. So we're going to see how this works out for us here. Yeah. Alright. I was never bringing back Cardia, so this frees up money so that I can actually make some moves if I have to. In the short term. They are my direct division rivals, so I guess maybe from that perspective I shouldn't have done it, but I still think we're a better team for doing that. I genuinely believe that to be the case. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that I am wrong. I don't think that that is a true statement. James Conway, the rookie, made his first All-Star team. Congratulations. Herb Berry made the All-Star team. That's 2 All-Stars. 2's all we get. Honestly, 2's probably all we deserved. Look at fucking Eleuterio Samuel here. Holy shit, man. Where'd you find this dude? Damn. I wish I had a guy like that. I don't, but I wish I did. I mean, 2 All-Stars is probably low given how well we've been performing. But I mean, look, Andrew Picard wasn't going to make the All-Star team. And Edward Hernandez and Ricardo Vasquez don't really deserve it. So I'm fine with how it's turned out so far. The bats need to wake up. The bats desperately need to awaken. They need to be very loud and very prominent, in my opinion. Okay, we get Danny Rios back. Did Bobby Pena show us anything at all? Not a thing. Get out of here, loser. Danny, this lineup yearns for your talent. We yearn for the minds of your ability to hit home runs. And then Rios is going to sub in for Bittner. Is Bittner playing well at all? Or no, Bittner is actually playing very poorly. Although, again, he is stealing bases and he's playing decent defense, so he looks better than he probably actually is. I'm not overwhelmed with choices, though, for high-quality outfielders, so I think we maybe just have to soak it. Ricardo Vasquez is third on the team in home runs. I didn't see that coming. He's actually been about what we wanted. He's still not great by any stretch of imagination, but he has been productive. And I'm pretty happy about that, but... Let's get drafting, guys. Let's find ourselves the next few great Sox. Ricardo Vasquez is going to miss about a week. That's fine, buddy. Take the time off if you need to. Oh, for some reason that paused my sim. Just don't play him, nerds. Come on now. Alright, we really need to hit on this first round pick. Really, truly. The problem is I don't have any money. I keep saying that's the problem, but it is the problem, right? My draft budget is 7.3 million, which is substantial, but I can't spend all of my money on one player. That can't happen. Now, Jose Marrero, I like a lot. I think there's a definite future where Mr. Marrero here opens next season our starting second baseman. And I think that's awesome. I think he'd be a great third baseman, too. So I think Mr. Marrero is exactly what we want. Somebody who's going to be ready relatively quickly and who has enough raw talent to help us into the future. Great pick. I feel really good about that one. I don't like the control. I think the control is too low for me to consider you in a meaningful way. Pat Wheatley, huh? Pat Wheatley is good. He's not great, but he's good. I can see taking him and letting him develop in our system. Plus he saves some cash, which is useful. We like Sean Kelly, do we? But why do we like Sean Kelly? He is a college guy. He's a pretty okay hitter. He's not necessarily a great catcher, but this is still pretty good value. So I think he's worth taking. I think Mr. Kelly here is an acceptable draft pick. Plus, he's really cheap. Terry Matan keeps falling. All it's going to take is him improving slightly in his control, and he'll be a really great relief pitcher. So I'm willing to make the signing for sure. We really like Jose Quinones. Well, I don't like his price tag, so that's not going to happen. Victor Signs is pretty good. He's got top tier power. He honestly wouldn't be the worst center fielder, but he's going to be a great corner outfielder. I think he's exactly the kind of guy that we could use on this club. Coming down, Victor. Rich Flannery, huh? I do like Rich Flannery. Let's get Rich Flannery. All right. We have completely ignored pitching this entire draft, except for Terry Matan. And that probably needs to be addressed, like right now. I can't do no pitching in the draft. My pitching isn't that good. Terry Matan is like, I'm a pitcher. Like, sure you are, pal. Sure you are. Let's look at Paul Crouch. I like it. Good stamina, decent fastball, a nice mix of ratings here, and 3 pretty good pitches. He's not going to be an ace, but I think he could very easily slide in at the back of the rotation and provide us with a lot of quality. So, Mr. Crouch, welcome to the White Sox. Hope you enjoy your stay. Oh, we really like this Casey Souza. We keep recommending him for some earthly reason. I don't know why. He's fine. Nothing about him says he'll even be a mediocre pitcher. So we have to disagree with you quite strongly on that one. Alex Hugo Suarez, on the other hand, is fairly polished for his age. He might be quick to the majors. He's got 3 nice pitches here, some nice stuff going on here. I think that's something I could be proud of. Let's grab Alex here. All right. Anybody you want, I will take. You want Jesse White. You know what? I've been ignoring these hit first guys for too long. Let's take Mr. White here. And we'll even sign him to a signing bonus. That's the kind of guy that I am. We like Julio Duarte. No, I do like Julio Duarte, except for this. If he works in his control, though, I think this is the kind of risk we can take in the 10th round. This is not a flawless pick. It's definitely one that we're going to have to get really lucky about, but I think is fine. Let's do some tool scouting. Best overall player is Darius Haynes. Let's take Darius Haynes. Why the fuck not? You can never have too many decent catchers, right? It's not possible. All players. Ron Behrman is also fine. Let's take Ron Boy here. Alright, I promise you tool scouting. We're going to do some tool scouting here. Not just going off of overall and briefly looking at their abilities here. I mean, let's do people that I actually care about. Jason Welch is a really solid all-around hitter. He's not a great one, certainly, but he is very solid all around, and I will happily take that at this point in the draft. He's somebody that could play meaningful games for us, and that is a good thing. Omari Rogers is somebody else I could get excited about. But God, that strikeout rate. That's a lot of strikeouts for someone whose power doesn't... The power doesn't make up for the strikeouts. You ideally want to mix. Let's draft Ben the Babin if he's from the right state and the wrong college. And then let's look at pitching now. Let's look at pitching potential. Roberto Montalvo. I think he's okay. I think Mr. Montalvo could end up being a a decent relief pitcher. He's got enough height on him that I think it's reasonable that he even adds more velocity. I think at this point in the draft, a guy like Montalvo is very reasonable. Very, very reasonable. Um I don't just want to grab I don't know how your stuff is rated 50. What about movement? Does anyone care decent movement? Yeah, you do. Harrison Hancock, there's a non-zero chance you figure out how to throw strikes, and that is a chance I am more than willing to take here in the 16th round. Let's go back now and let's let our scouting director make some picks, make him feel good about himself. You want Craig Klassen, buddy? For you? Fine. You want Jimmy Greeley? Hmm, he's kind of a jerk, but he's not useless. Done. You want John Red? John Redcorn? Okay, fine. I'd say they'd be good picks. Just so we would let the AI make them. Is there any big thumpers left? I don't care what their other abilities are. If they're a big thumper, I want them. I see a medium thumper in Kevin Beavers. And I think honestly I'd rather take Eric Burns and hope at some point he figures out how to hit for contact. It's a 20th round, guys. It doesn't genuinely matter all that much. Was this a good draft? Honestly, if Jose Morero develops quickly, and I think he should, I think this turns into a top tier draft. This is taking somebody who's already fairly good in Dan Halpern, placing somebody that's younger and more effective. And that's always a positive. That's always a good thing when you can make it happen. Um, and Dan Halpern has performed well enough as a player that we could. Oh, wow. That sucks. Do we go full banana and just promote Jose Morero to the major leagues and let him play second base, move Halpern over to shortstop? Is that what's about to happen right now? Like, surely that would be very stupid, right? Or is it so stupid it's brilliant? No, we use Christensen. This was a non-answer, a non-question rather. Art Isbell can play shortstop while Perry is out, but we have what's his face there. I know Isbell can't hit, but I don't know of anyone on this team who can right now. You know what? I'm fine with whatever we decide here. I don't want Bobadilla playing that much. I still think Adam Smith is the better choice. He's the only guy in this lineup that has consistent power this year, which I value quite highly. But you want to play more frequently, otherwise, go nuts. All right. That is probably the end of our season. There's always a chance other people could pick it up. I accept that, but it ain't looking good. It's not looking good at all. Do I trade Dan Halpern now? Adam, stop having a dead arm. Have a live arm. You know? I guess Waters gets a start for a couple weeks while you figure out your shit. Oh, we want to call up Joe Niley? Maybe. I mean, we can try Terry Maton, right? Like, sure. Fine. Adam Wise can miss another week. Okay. Dong Moon On has decided to retire. He's had himself a pretty good career. Good for you, bro. Good for you. That's hilarious. You traded me, instantly fucking retires. Like, fuck you. I don't want to play for the Braves. Wow. Chris Waters is hurt now? It's not for 2 days. That's fine. Would give me VP McDonald. Meh. 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 No thanks. Jared Delgado wants to come back. I wouldn't be opposed to that if I had any money at all whatsoever. I think you've done very good work for us, but I just can't afford you. We can talk after the season. Do I trade Halpern? Is the question. You would give me mediocre, decent. Corey Griswold's actually pretty good. Corey Griswold is actually really good. Bobadilla is nothing special. He's just a reasonably good backup catcher. I think this is a big win for us. I think Corey Griswold has a ton of potential, and Jason Hancock is a perfectly serviceable reliever for one season. I think we make this trade easily. We're going to tell Mr. Bobadilla, thank you for your work for the club. Griswold, I would like you to go to the minor leagues. Jason Hancock, will you accept a demotion, or are you out of options? You might be out of options. Yeah, you are out of options. Okay. Reasonable. Reasonable take. The problem is, like, the only guy I could potentially get rid of is Jaden Charles. He's actually having a good year relieving. Oh, does anybody want Jason Hancock? Just Jason Hancock for, like, a rookie? I just have no... Like, I'm gonna guess he could accept a demotion if we wanted him to. I think we just trade him. Anybody want Jason Hancock for the low price of literally anything? Because I don't have any actual interest in him. No? Okay. Well... I'm gonna send Terry Maton back down. I don't want him to, like, his arm to fall off or whatever, so this is acceptable for now. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Alright. Last stop. Do we trade Darren Harper? Not Darren Harper. Dan Halpern. I think the answer is yes. I think Dan Halpern will never have more value than he has right this second. I think he's given all that he can possibly give to the Chicago White Sox. I think we say goodbye to him now. Before the deadline. And I'm not going to ask for a major league player either. I want... Actually, do I want a major league player? I would love a quality outfielder. Still. I've been looking for one of those for a very long time. So I guess I'd also look at regulars too. I guess that's reasonable, depending on what's offered to me. Alright, I'm not seeing a lot of excitement here. Andy Rivera is fine, I guess. He's not bad. Like, there's a definite world where Andy Rivera is a meaningful piece of this club. Certainly because Brian Bittner hasn't accomplished a whole lot. I mean, I don't know that Andy here would accomplish much either. There's really nothing here at all, which is a bummer. If I asked for a prospect package, what would that get me? Nothing at all? Okay. I guess I can talk to veterans too, maybe. Even getting a 49 is incredibly expensive. That's big yikes energy. Luis Acosta doesn't interest me. I could acquire Barry Waffle, actually. I mean, we could just trust Art Isbell to play shortstop while until Herb Barry comes back. He's coming back in 3 weeks, so maybe I shouldn't overcommit there. Hmm. Alex Perez is fine. He's acceptable, but not really what I'm looking for here. David Felix can't really play the outfield. Andy Rivera, we've already talked about. Andy Rivera is fine, I guess. It's hard for me to get excited about him, but he's not the worst. I might just take Andy Rivera. That feels so wasteful, though. Like, it feels like I'm blowing his any value he might actually have. Let me wait till the actual deadline and let's see. Rios, you stupid son of a bitch. How dare you get suspended? We have a nice amount. Oh, we almost have a nice amount of wins. We're not quite that nice yet. You would give me Paul Harris, but Paul Harris sucks, so I don't want Paul Harris. Goodbye, Paolo. Willie Frausto is fine, I guess. I guess he's not a terrible fit. But I'm not going to keep him. Like, that's not going to happen. So I don't see a lot of value in trading anything meaningful for him. Rafael Medina only plays first. Tony Hernandez is too expensive. Jordan Dunning is not useful. Anel Tapia is kind of tempting, actually. I've even got him for next year, too. It is more money, but maybe I can use this as a way to get rid of Dan Halpern. You're gonna need to eat some of this salary for me to make this deal. I think Alex Madrid is way too valuable for me as a possible defensive replacement, so I don't think I can trade him. Escott is also quite good. Yeah, I'm not going to trade any of these guys just for Angel Tapia. That just can't happen. Does anybody want to give me a rookie for Halpern? Even one rookie. Asking for a crumb of rookie. Somebody's going to want Dan Halpern, right? Somebody does want Dan Halpern. Tim Sutton's not terrible. Can I get Herrera and Sutton? Is that a thing that I can request? Can I get more? Could I also add on Jamie Ray? Jamie Ray seems alright. Damn, I guess the people love them some Dan Halpern all of a sudden. I'm here for it. Chris the Prunier? Nah. Rogelio Lucio? Maybe. I'm just getting anything I can get my hands on for Halpern. And I think this is correct. Let's make this trade. Let's make it happen. Dan Halpern, you have been very, very effective for us. Very effective. And I think, look, he may never have been an all-star, but he was a very good player when we needed him to be very good. But I think this is the right choice. Because now, Mr. Christensen can start at second base. Is Marrero hurt? Or did you demote him to double A? Where the fuck did he go? Okay, where's my top tier prospect? Oh, right. Yeah, that's fine. I don't think I want anything else. No one's going to give me anything for Balboa because they literally can't trade for him. Jerry Delgado is maybe worth something, but probably not. We can ask. I do like Jerry Delgado a fair bit, but I think this is a nice time for a mini teardown. And nobody wants him. That's fair. That's reasonable. Where the fuck is Marrero? He could actually still be in the draft league, right? Eliomar Garces being a second baseman for a year for us is reasonable. I'm not opposed to this deal. Andres Duran is not anybody that I'm going to miss. And you're paying his entire salary and throwing in a decent rookie. I think we make this deal. You are a former Sock now and forever, but it's correct. It gives you a nice veteran second baseman so that I'm not rushing Christensen. And I do need to call up a catcher, which I think is going to be probably Jose Hernandez. So there we go. And I think that's it. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else that I want during this deadline. I do wonder where Marrero went, but I'm pretty sure he's just like in the draft league. That's my guess anyway, is that he's in the draft league. Because he's not here as hurt. Föddes i draftlag. It is not listed here. It is under team history. Alright. Marrero, where are you right now? You are with the West Virginia Black Bears. Understood. Had a great time there too, which is really tasty. Alright, so we've got our catcher. We've got our new second baseman for now is going to be Eliomar Garces. I think that's a fair statement. Adam Smith now plays catcher all the time. Oh, that was the issue. Okay, got it. He is playing catcher all the time. Noted. Alright, so second base. I guess we can move up Lucio, and we can move up Smith. And we can let Mr. Garcias here bat ninth and play second. If we amount to anything at all, I will be genuinely shocked. It is impossible for me to sit here and tell you that we are a better team with what we've got going on right now. I do think we're a younger team. I think we're a cheaper team, and I think we will be a better team in the future. But I don't think we're better right this second. Give me a depth chart, please. We're not playing Fernandez that frequently. I do like the idea of playing Christensen frequently, but I don't want him playing constantly. I should probably just let Beltran start at this point, huh? Like, Bittner has... He's done okay. Like, he hasn't been useless, but he hasn't been that great either. Yeah, let's let Beltran start. He's earned it. And Christensen can play second base every 5 games. Hernandez can play there. Generato. If tired. Every 5 games. If tired. I don't really care what we do here. I think this is fine. We're still 14 games over 500, so it's not like we're like tearing it all down. This is just pivoting from people that I wasn't going to keep anyway and giving ourselves some opportunities. I guess with that in mind, maybe I don't play Crit, but maybe I don't play Garces at all. Maybe just treat Garces as... Dude, Jose Moreau's getting worse. That's gross. Don't do that. We want you to be awesome. You know what? I just realized that was a stupid thing that I have done. Here, you know what? Christensen, get in there. I gain nothing from starting Garces over better defense occasionally. And I don't think that justifies benching you. Like, your job is to play every day, get experience, and show us what you can do. That makes us a better club right now. And Christensen is already basically Halpern with a worse throwing arm. So letting you perform at the major league level, I think, is more valuable to me than just about anything else I could think of. So that's what we're going to do. All right. You got 1 month to impress us. Adam Wiley can come back now. Amazing. Chris Waters is pitching very, very poorly. Very, very poorly. So how's about... Do I try to waive Chris Waters? Maybe. Like, he ain't got nothing left in the tank, so we might as well see if he'll accept it. And then Adam Wiley instantly gets his rotation spot back, because he's actually pretty decent. Fuck. Will you be a team player? You won't be a team player either. I'll try to get Jason Hancock through waivers, I guess. I kind of want to keep Hancock, if I'm being honest with you, but... You know... I don't really have a say in the matter right now, do I? Okay, Herb Berry back is gigantic. It is the biggest news. But a Herb Berry that's not at 100% isn't of much interest to me. I'm going to let you rehab until rosters expand. I'm going to give you some days in the minors, recover, relax, have a good time. And then we will activate you the second that rosters expand. And you'll get a chance to show what you can do. All right, Mr. Garces here, we can put on the 10-day IL, and then we can activate Barry. And get this man back in the lineup post-haste. Art Isbell, you were acceptable this year. And you know what? I don't throw words around like acceptable around lightly. But that's exactly what you were. However, your time of acceptability is now at an end. I am not letting Hernandez play over Smith just because Hernandez is a better defensive catcher. We don't need great defense. We need good hitting right now. And you are not that, Mr. Hernandez. Yeah. Mr. Hernandez, you are literally a catcher because someone has to be the backup catcher. You are not the catcher because I want you to be. So we're not winning the division this year, but we have a pretty good lead in the wild card. Not an insurmountable lead, but a pretty good lead in the wild card. Which, honestly, I didn't expect to make the postseason this year. I truly didn't. Terry Motson has improved his control. This is excellent news. Jose Marrero is getting better defensively. We love that here. Lee Escott looks pretty great. We've got some fairly talented players, like a Willie Escott, who could definitely fill a role if a role opened up. So, yeah. I probably shouldn't have kept Halpern as long as I did. Just based on... Now, this is only 2 weeks, so I'm not going to bother expanding the rosters. We're just going to let people just kind of do their thing until the season ends. Eliomar Garcia is back. I don't really care, but sure. Have I already clinched a postseason spot? I don't think that I have. I have done. Okay, great. I mean, I kind of doubted this team would make the postseason, but here we are. All right. Time to test the vibes, y'all. Leaving Bittner off the roster is something I actually support. I think it's a reasonable decision based on what's actually happened here. Beltran, you get to play all the time now. It's all Beltran all the time. Yeah. All right. Pitching. It's definitely Picar and Conway, but it's probably not Garcia. Is it genuinely Reyes? No. I guess we can trust Garcia. So let's do a 3-man rotation. Picar is the ace. Reyes and Wiley being good pitching dudes. I can't start any of you guys, though. You've had 3 days rest. You'll have 4 days rest tomorrow. So you'll be ready to go. Probably. We won. It looks like it was a bullpen game, but that's acceptable. Oh, Adam Wiley ended up starting. We basically turned it into a full bullpen game. That makes sense. I'm on board with that. We made it out of the first round. That's something. I don't know what, but it's something. John Cole's going to miss 6 months. That's brutal. John Cole is in a very reasonable perspective to get meaningful playing time. This was not the year to get hurt for him and his development as a human being and baseball player. We're facing Cleveland, our old rivals. Adam Wiley's going to get the 4th spot in the rotation just because he's actually done it before, whereas Eduardo Reyes is still quite new. Eduardo Reyes looks better than he does because how good he was in Cleveland. That's fair. I guess there is the revenge factor, which was kind of fun. Like, haha! I got all your secrets from Eduardo Reyes. Let's get it done. Okay. A 1-0 victory in Game 1. Alex Garcia dominating in the postseason. You'd love to see it. James Conway got blown apart, which doesn't surprise me. I like James Conway a lot, but he is still a rookie. Andrew Picard also got lit up. It's Fosco Cardia. He's probably going to screw me over, as is tradition at this point. Yep, he did. Actually, it wasn't Fosco Cardia's fault. Fosco Cardia's out of the game pretty early. Adam Wiley pitched perfectly well. We didn't score, which doesn't surprise me. We weren't a very high-scoring team this year. Offense was a real problem for us. And so this is something we're going to have to fix. As much time as I spent worrying about the pitching staff, the pitching was fine. It was the hitting that gutted us. Yeah. Oh, wow. Thanks, Oscar Balboa. Get fucked. You jackass. Look at me, guys. I'm ready to go. You took all that damn money from me, and you show up after the season? I hate you. I loathe you. I would not sign you for $1. $1 is too much money to sign you. I mean, I'm happy for Cleveland doing as well as they did this postseason and winning the World Series, but you know. Look, okay, I need to adjust my expectations, right? I didn't expect to make the postseason at all. And we want a playoff round. That's something. That's a good thing. That is acceptable. That is a reasonable thing to have happened. I'll go ahead and finish the day just so the offseason officially starts, and we can do 2 things I've longed to do now for several seasons. Oh boy, Anthony Santander is retired. My season score is 666, where the devil noted. Are you guys ready for this? Voided. And voided. I did get a new 4-year contract. Thank you. That's very kind of you, sir. All right. So let's rap about what went well this season. Who actually performed at a high level? Herb Berry's bat was maybe a tiny bit off of where we would like it to be, but his glove and his defense and his speed were all exceptional, as always. If this is a down season for Berry, I'm reasonably happy. And I know that he's capable of better. So, Herb Berry, great job. Edwin Hernandez continues to be our most reliable hitter. He's still overpaid relative to his actual value, but he's also still just 27. And there's definitely like an MVP caliber year that's just waiting for him to unlock it. Danny Rios ended up playing a little bit worse than he did last year. Looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of his power. The injuries are probably adding up. I need him to be healthy very desperately because we rely very, very heavily on his ability to both get on base and hit home runs. The Ricardo Vasquez experiment, success with flying colors. Very pleased about this. He did everything we asked of him. He was an acceptable hitter, not a great one, but an acceptable one, and a very, very good defender, and also a fairly good base stealer. Maini, he's not opting out, guys. Unless he turns in an absolutely flawless season next year, where he thinks he can genuinely make more money, he's going to stay in his contract, and then we're going to have to deal with what that means. Chris Hernandez did not have a good year. Did not have a good year at all. And this is after I tried to take him out of the lineup against left-handed pitching. He just wasn't very good this year. He was awful against lefties, but I also protected him more than I think I have in quite a while. Our team as a whole kind of struggled hitting. Very few of our players we would consider to be good hitters. Armando Beltran shockingly was one of them. I never expected this would be the one you figured out how to hit. Micah Christensen was pretty awful, but he's also barely played, so he is unmotivated. So maybe we got bamboozled a little bit. Picard Conway was really good. James Conway being this good is something I had no right to expect, and is probably why we made the postseason at all. Our bullpen was phenomenal, and our starters were there. Our starters were there. This really bums me out because I think Jaden Charles and Chris Waters both had a chance to be genuinely great pitchers for us, and they even had moments where they were genuinely great, but neither one of them really lived up to the hype. Yeah. Neither one of these gentlemen will ever be entering the Hall of Fame in a White Sox cap. I mean, there's value turning Chris Waters into a full-time reliever, possibly. I guess we could try to recoup some value that way, but we're not going to be the ones to offer either of these guys the money. Why is Oscar Balboa still on the roster? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, there he goes. I wouldn't mind keeping Jerry Delgado. I think a 3-year deal for Jerry Delgado is very reasonable. He's been a pretty good reliever. And this is fine. This is an acceptable deal. So we will... Yeah, he was a good reliever this year. I think he's been very, very good, and we've appreciated his abilities here. Chris Waters can go to hell. Jaden Charles wanting to come back for like $2 million is not a terrible deal if we just make into a full-time reliever. I don't hate that. And he is still pretty popular, right? I wonder if Balboa would take a contract hit. No, he wants to get paid. Understandably so. Garces I don't give a shit about. Let's do a 3-year deal with 2 team options. How does this grab you? Okay. I think this is fine. Given what we're going to ask him to do, which is just be a very solid relief pitcher and maybe give us some innings, this is acceptable. This is an acceptable amount of money. Keeping him in the fold is worthwhile. We'll talk to these other guys next episode, but this was something that I feel reasonably good about. All right, my friends. Shockingly good season. Shockingly good. We ended up being a little bit over 500, which I thought we would be well under 500, so I'm pretty pleased that we made the postseason. And I think we now have the money to start investing in player development again, which is very, very needed. It's so important. I'm going to go ahead and increase this to $20 million right now. And scouting is also going to go up to $20 million. I understand this means I now have like almost no money to spend. This will sort itself out when we start doing some of these offers, these arbitration deals. We start sorting some of those out. So, my friends, until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the series. And until next time, I bid you good day.